Welcome to our fourth round of appropriations matchups, where we look at the legislative package for both the House and the Senate. This bill's just a little bit different, as we'll get into in just a second. They don't have complete parity because each chamber is responsible for its own budget requests. And before you ask, of course they're trying to increase their own budgets while simultaneously decreasing the budgets of the other government agencies. The House of Representatives is in the left column as usual. The Senate is in the right column. The middle is the president's budget request. Along those lines, we're not going to talk about the president's overall top line or about his requests for House or Senate chambers because he doesn't have one. Only the House makes their appropriations for themselves and the Senate makes their appropriations for themselves, and that's it. Both the House and the Senate have about 5% of cuts compared to FY25 for the entire legislative package, but not for themselves, as we'll get into in just a second. For the House, they're asking for $1.9 billion for House of Representatives activity, which is about a 5% increase from FY25. The Senate is asking for $1.47 billion, which is a 10% increase from this fiscal year. This will go to staff salaries, representative allowances, that sort of thing. So no, they're not technically getting a pay increase as congressional reps. They are getting increases to their various benefits and allowances, and their staff are also getting pay raises. Now, I'm a little more willing to let it slide on the Senate side because their cuts are not really happening in some of the major areas, but on the House side, this is just hypocrisy. So for the House, they're actually trying to cut the Government Accountability Office, which, why would we need that in this day and age, by 48% down to $415 million. The president actually asked for $933 million for this agency. The Senate is trying to fund them at FY25 level, which is $812 million. Your CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, again, another accountability agent that scores budget bills. The House is asking for $72 million, which is a $2 million increase from FY25. The president asked for $75.7 million, and the Senate is asking for $71.4 million. So both the House and the Senate went just a little bit above FY25 levels, but not as high as the president's request. Now, when it comes to the Library of Congress, we had another draconian act by the House of Representatives. So the president asked for about $900 million for the Library of Congress in total. The House is trying to cut that by about 10% from FY25 and even more from the president's request. So they're looking at $767 million. But the Senate is funding the Library of Congress at FY25 level, which is $852 million. This also includes the library services for the deaf and blind, the Copyright Office, that kind of thing. And because the House is the House, they've decided to add this impoundment clause under the GAO, where they would not be able to bring civil action against those who are violating the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. I wonder why, in this administration that's been impounding funds, we would want to put into the legislation that we can no longer bring civil action against those who are impounding funds. Interesting. The plan is for this package to get passed as a solo measure over to the House before the August recess. We'll see what happens.